All right, so here's my number one. Number one from 2019, the stuff that I've seen clients struggle with, and it's kind of an interesting one. So I'm going to take a slight spin on it.
Okay.
So of all either my clients or more, perhaps even more importantly, their team members, so their direct reports that have left in 2019, they've left for either one of these two reasons, if not both. One, and I don't think this will come as a surprise to anybody listening. One, not feeling appreciated or valued. So, and not by money, by someone actually appreciating, acknowledging their effort, feeling valued and appreciated. We've known this. I could have said that same thing in 2018 or 2017 or 2016. We can go back in time on that one. The second one is a little bit surprised me this year, and that is not having enough development conversations with their leader. Not development opportunities necessarily, development conversations. So what they're telling me is, hey, I don't feel valued. And more importantly, she's not taking the time to talk to me about my development. So I'm leaving. It has nothing to do with money. Even though we're in a job market where you could go out and make 20% more, people are leaving because they don't feel valued. But most importantly, they're not having development conversations with their boss, which goes back to busyness, addiction to busyness. Because if you're addicted to it, you're not going to make intentional time for those development conversations.
You know what's interesting about that is it's really easy for us to make an assumption about what you just said. Oh, well, that's probably our younger colleagues. I think it's every generation.
I would agree.
Everybody needs to be developed and feel like they're valued. Everybody. It's not just our younger colleagues.
I think that's a really important call out and exactly true. Like I said, it's all my clients and their direct reports. And it doesn't matter what age. I've had folks in their mid 40s, even early 50s say, I don't feel like I'm growing and being developed. So I'm moving on. I'm not having the development conversations. And the key is the conversations. They're not saying opportunities. They recognize opportunities are subjective to the wins of the organization. There may be resources and growth, but there may not be. But they want the conversations.
Can I tell you a quick appreciation story? It's very quick. It just happened this week.
Of course.
So change the names to protect the innocent, right? So my client had been struggling with really engaging with his team, just really struggled. He was talking at them. He wasn't listening. They just didn't feel loved. Okay. And he had a very large team. So I convinced him just before Thanksgiving to try something. I said, I want you to trust me and I want you to do it and you're going to hate it, but I promise you it's going to have a great result. I asked him to write notes of gratitude and appreciation to every single member of his team, handwritten notes, individualized. Something special about that person. Hey, here's what I just want to let you know. I appreciate all the work you did on the blank project this year, or I love your smile, or I love all this stuff. So anyway, it was probably like 25 notes that he wrote, and he took the step, I didn't tell him to do this, of putting a little gift card inside of each one. And he gave it to them. Well, I knew he promised to do it, but I hadn't seen him since this week. So this week it happened. He walks in, he said, okay, I don't know what happened, but it's unbelievable. I've gotten the greatest reaction. Every time I go to their desk, my note is sitting on their desk, which kind of freaks me out. But they really loved it and they keep talking about it. And there's like a whole sea change about their attitudes toward me. Why did that happen? I said, well, you showed appreciation and gratitude. You took the time to write a note. You gave them a gift, which was a nice add-on, by the way. And he said, guess what? We're actually going to go do this BMW driving experience. I want to take my team up to Greenville to do it. I said, well, that's next level. But he has now gotten addicted to this idea. When I show appreciation, my team is more engaged. And it was an epiphany for him. So it just happened, and it was a big breakthrough.
I love it. Great story. Great story. If he does that and the development conversation once a month, and I told even people with the development conversation, it doesn't have to be hard. You can simply say, hey, once you get in a rhythm, you can say, hey, what'd you learn last month? Let's talk about last month. What'd you work on? What'd you learn? What do you want to focus on this month? And how can I support you? Done.
Yeah.
There it is.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be some big, where do you want to go in your career in 5 years? It can be that, but it can simply just be month to month. What'd you learn? What are you working on this month that you want to focus on? And how can I help you?
I like your famous street signs with start, stop, and continue. What are you going to start doing? What are you going to stop doing? What are you going to continue doing? It's something basic.
Yeah. I used that at home with my kids last night. See, all comes back to parenting.
You're a tough dad.
Yeah, maybe. Well, if my kids were here, they might agree with you, actually. All right, Randy, I always ask this question of you. You know it's coming. Ready?
Yes.
Life hack. What's a life hack for how we can live our life more free from dysfunction?
Okay, I'll try to make this short. I want to talk about the normalization of defects. And let me tell you where this comes from. If you recall the tragic Space Shuttle Challenger explosion, and before that, the Columbia Space Shuttle explosion. Well, NASA, when it did its deep dive into why this happened, they discovered that the flaws, the defects in both shuttles were actually well known within NASA and the science community and the managers. They all knew, but they said, you know what, we don't know why it's there. It doesn't seem to be causing a big issue, so we're just going to ignore it. Well, we both know that both cases ended in tragedy. Well, when NASA, kind of put its results out there for the public, they called it the normalization of defects. So here's the life hack if you're a business leader. I want you to think about applying that thinking to business. What are the defects that you have normalized in your business? Where is someone saying, that's just the way we do things around here? Where is the behavior being excused for someone that maybe is a top sales performer? Where is the lack of candid conversation? You can find these pockets of defects all over if you'll just take the time to think about it. Now, once you've made your list and you've identified what these normalized defects are, the real trick is to say, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
So then starting to work with your team to attack those defects and eliminate them. But this idea of saying, what are the defects we've just said are okay, where are the flaws in our company, and why are we tolerating that? Why don't we identify it and then move forward and try to get rid of them?
Yeah.
That's my life hack.
I love it. That's beautiful. So if people want to learn more about you and what you're up to, where can they go?
I would encourage them to go to serviumpartners.com. Follow me on LinkedIn, and also check out my Servium Partners YouTube page. We do a lot of helpful videos, very short videos on a lot of the topics that you and I talk about.
Yep. And what we haven't talked about yet, you mentioned it once, is a Leadership Foundry.
Yes.
So you and I are the co-founders of Leadership Foundry.
Yes.
So we've kind of come together and brought our kind of resources and ideas together to help companies and teams get better at growing their leaders. And so they can even check out our site, which is myleadershipfoundry.com.
Yes. And there's going to be some exciting stuff in 2020 coming.
There is going to be some exciting stuff.
Stay tuned.
So stay tuned. That's right. We've been putting our heads together on some creative ways to bring resources that make it easier for our clients to grow and develop.
Very exciting stuff.
That's what we're all about. Yeah.